Oh, what is the upskis, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXHockeyCast. Run episode 131. Toronto Maple Leafs legend, Curtis Joseph of My Hockey Show, where once a week I go through all the major news and what's happening around the NHL, mainly focusing in on the Leafs and the Flames. Those are my two favorite teams, but I'll be talking about all 32 teams today. And this is an easy one. I know exactly where we're starting today, y'all. We are starting at the absolute disastrous Buffalo Sabers. And I know they've been kind of the disastrous Buffalo Sabers for the past roughly a decade, but this is bad right now, y'all. This is bad. 10-game losing streak for the Buffalo Sabers. Management, coaching, players, analysts, just speechless right now at the just horrifying year so far that has been the Buffalo Sabres. And this losing streak is a little bit of an anomaly. And dude, this is honestly just getting sad. Really, really sad at this point. You're seeing pictures of, the Sabres arenas and they're fucking half empty, people leaving. You got fans with bags on their heads, and this is not new. It's just, it's a hot topic right now. And the Buffalo Sabres have not won a game since November 23rd, 2024. Will there be a possibility that the Buffalo Sabres do not win a game for the remainder of this calendar year of 2024? Will the Buffalo Sabres be able to get a win? They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chances to get a win by the new year. I don't think the Buffalo Sabres will go on a 17-game losing streak. That would be insane. But right now, they're on a 10-game losing streak, and they kicked that sumbitch off with a 1-0 loss to the Minnesota Wild. Not that alarming. Minnesota, one of the best teams in the league right now. They're great goaltending, so okay. Then they lost to Vancouver, 4-3. All right, well, Vancouver's kind of struggling. We're going to tie in Buffalo and Vancouver together here on this episode, since they got brought into the league at the same time. Why not? They lose to the Canucks. They get shut out by the Islanders. That's kind of embarrassing. They get spanked by Colorado 5-4. Okay. Winnipeg beats them. Okay, that's fine. Utah takes a whooping. They beat them 5-2. So, okay. Detroit takes them down 6-5. Even the Rangers beat them. And the Rangers might be the next worst team in the league right now, but even the Rangers get a win over the Buffalo Sabres. You got Washington wins, and most recently, your Toronto Maple Leafs put them down 5-3. Oh boy, and their next game is Montreal. They have a chance. There's a chance against Montreal they could win. Absolutely. They have a chance in any game, allegedly. But right now, woof. Okay, so where the hell do we even start with this team right now? I don't even think, they're performing that badly. I mean, they are, but, not that bad. I mean, their goals for is 21st in the league. They're scoring under 3 goals per game, and they're allowing over 3 goals per game. So math tells me that's not a good combination. So that's bad. Power play is atrocious. 14.6%. That's 30th in the NHL. That's not good. Penalty kills, 79%. That's 18th in the league. 79%. That's not good, man. That's not good. And there's a lot of guys struggling on this team right now. I mean, the big one is Dylan Cousins. They're saying the Vultures are starting to swarm around Dylan Cousins, who has only 13 points in 31 games this season. He's still a young gun, sort of. He's 23 years old, 6'3" center, shoots right, former first-round pick, 7th overall. What the hell's going on? And this guy, I mean, I'm not saying he will get traded, but there's a lot of people interested in Dylan Cousins because there's been such a big track record of Buffalo giving up on their prospects or moving on from their prospects, and then that said prospect goes on and wins Stanley Cups. Sam Reinhart, Jack Eichel come to mind. So Dylan Cousins enters the league in 2020-2021, 41 games, 13 points, minus 15. Not great. 79 games the next year, 38 points, getting better. 81 games, 68 points. Hey, now, we got a player. 31 goals, 37 assists. Hey, that's pretty good. the following season, he follows it up with 18 goals, 29 assists for only 47 points. That's almost a 20-point dip in production. And this year, he's on an even worse pace. Like I said, 31 games, 13 points, only 6 goals. This guy, a former 30-goal scorer, and it looks like the passion's gone, just whatever's going on with this player, it's gone in Buffalo. And the conversation now is does Buffalo trade yet another young prospect only to watch them have major success somewhere else? And I don't really know what you can do about that. Like, clearly, the success, the potential won't be reached here in Buffalo with this player, allegedly. He is 23. They could turn it around, but at this point, he's 23. And forwards need to move along a little bit faster than defensemen. And he's already shown that he can score 30. So we know that ability's there. He can find that again easily somewhere else. Can he find that again in Buffalo? That's a tough ask, man. It's a really tough ask. In the midst of a 10-game losing streak, your coach is speechless. Like, Lindy Ruff comes out, he's like, I don't know what to say. It's I'm speechless, and it's my job to get it together, but I don't know what to do. And apparently Buffalo, as an organization, doesn't know what to do because it's been going on for 13 plus years. And Buffalo used to be a powerhouse, man. I used to fear Buffalo, especially when they changed the jerseys and everything. Ryan Miller, Vanek, Pominville. Goddamn, man. Like, they used to be deadly. And it's been so freaking long that they've just become a major joke. And the what do you call it? Like, the poster child of what not to do as an NHL franchise. Draft second overall and belittle that player immediately because you didn't get Connor McDavid. Oh, you're off to a great relationship with your new star. And then you proceed to not let him get a surgery that he wants to better himself and play better for your organization. You go through a whole fucking hoopla with that. You lose that player. He goes off, gets that surgery, playing better than he ever has before, wins a Stanley Cup. Jesus, man. Like, it is so ugly. So ugly. I think back to the Ryan O'Reilly situation when he was there. Another guy that gets traded out of Buffalo, goes off, wins a Conn Smythe, wins a Stanley Cup, and has been fantastic ever since he left. That guy lost the passion to play hockey, playing hockey in Buffalo. Like, that guy was, like, probably at his lowest point in his life playing with the Buffalo Sabers. And that is, I don't think he's the only guy, man. Like, Jack Eichel would be another prime candidate of that. That guy was fucking miserable in that place. And, like, I feel like the only guy that I've seen that's actually enjoyed being there in recent memory that I can recall is Alex Tuck. And I wanted that guy to be named captain. Like, that guy, the fact that he wanted to be there, loved just that alone was enough. I'd be like, I make this guy captain, sign him forever, and let's build statues of this man, because that has not been a sentence I've heard in forever. And it's just been like the comments coming out from, I think it's the GM or whoever said it, like, oh, we don't have palm trees. It's not a destination place to play. And no fucking shit, man. Like, how could it be with your 13-year track record of just fucking terribly run organization, and, guys go there to fucking die, and it's just not a good place to be right now. Casey Middlestat gets traded out of there. He's been good for Colorado, never really found his way with the Buffalo Sabres, and then immediately he finds better success with Colorado. Bowen Byram got brought in, but, like, even that was questionable. It's like, you guys are already so strong on the left side with young defensemen. You have Dahlin, Power, and then you want to bring in Byram. Like, it just, and Byram was already upset playing behind people in Colorado. Now you're putting him behind even more people in Buffalo. So he's inevitably going to get miserable and possibly traded. It's crazy the way that this team is run. Bringing in Lindy Ruff, on paper, it was fun at the time. I liked it because I'm like, oh, hey, Lindy's back. That's fun. The last time they were successful. But yeah, it's been an utter disaster with that. He's not getting the best out of the players. And it's just getting ugly, man. And this is what happens with the NHL and teams like this. I forget who said it, but whenever there's a team in dire straits, they don't throw that GM a lifeline. Say, here, buddy, here, take this player. He could really help you out. They throw you anchors. and watch you drown and struggle. They're like, oh, you got a young guy there. He's struggling. Oh, yeah, he probably won't get anywhere here. I'll throw you a third-round pick. Bring him over here. We'll take him off your hands, and we'll deal with him. Boom, Dylan Cousins, 45 goals. Bam, it's amazing. And off he goes. This just continues to happen with Buffalo. And, man, so we look at I got like their fucking trade history up here. It's ugly, man. So back to Dylan Cousins. That's where I initially started this conversation for some reason. Of course, because he looks like he will be the next Buffalo Saber, possibly poached by a team, and he'll be great. But what other players on this team? I'm looking through this roster, and what I'm noticing, I mean, I don't think it's crazy to suggest, but I think this team could use like an impact veteran. Think like, well, I know Patrick Kane would be a little too late, but that would have been a great addition. When he was rumored to come there, like you need someone that has, I don't know, been through the shit, and you need someone that's been through it. And there's a lot of young guys on this team, and like, yeah, they got Jason Zucker, they got Jordan Greenway. Like, are those names that really ring out and be like, oh man, that's like an impact veteran that could help bring along this young, kind of fragile, well, very fragile team. I don't know, man. I don't know what player that would be necessarily, but that's what I think this team could use, is a little bit of veteran leadership to get them through this, but I feel like they've done that before. Tage Thompson would be one of the only bright spots in Buffalo's recent history, especially trade history. It took a while for it to actually look good, but Tage Thompson, he's still performing well this season. He's got 16 goals in 26 games. Tage Thompson's great. Like, he's been a great player for them. Injuries have been a little bit of an issue, but, I mean, Tage Thompson's, he's got his man. Alex Tuck's got 31 games played, 25 points. Not bad. And then their next leading scorer is Jason Zucker with 21 points. And you would want guys like, I mean, JJ Peterka hasn't been bad. He's got 20 points in 29 games. He is a -9. Dahlin, he's a little bit behind this year. 25 points in 25 games played, 19 points. Owen Power, I feel like, has taken a step forward offensively. Bowen Byram, like, all three of their left young defensemen have 19, 19, and 18 points respectively. So I feel like none of them are really galloping the way that they should be. Like, if Power was the main guy, he would probably have more points. If Bowen Byram was the main guy, he'd probably have more points. It was very weird that Buffalo made that trade for Bowen Byram. Like, yeah, he's a great, seemingly great high ceiling potential player, but it was like, it's not something you needed whatsoever. Like, it was just such a weird trade for them to make. We got Peyton Krebs not stepping up much. You got Zach Benson not taking another step forward. You got Jack Quinn. He's only got 7 points in 25 games. Not enough. Greenway hasn't done much in his addition to the team. Like, yeah, man, there's a lot of guys. There's just not a lot down there that's making me go like, yeah, man, this is a pretty good team. There's just kind of a lot of guys on this team. Not really big impact guys. And this happened again to Buffalo this year, but Matthias Samuelsson, he went down with injury. And last time he went down with a big injury, that's where Buffalo really started to struggle, because Matthias Samuelsson is like kind of their best defensive defenseman, stay-at-home guy. And yeah, he's down, and that really hurts them. Goaltending, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, he's doing what he can, man. 21 games played, 8-9-3 record. He's got a .903 save percentage. So, like, average, like, he's giving them at least a chance. Like, he's not to blame for the losses of Buffalo. Like, yeah, maybe he lets in a bad goal every now and again, but I don't think straight up this guy's the reason that they're losing. Excuse me. Devin Levi, it's just not coming along, man. And at this point, I'm nervous for Devin Levi because he's in this fucking black hole void of negativity, terrible just stories getting written about this team constantly, and I can only imagine, like, a young guy like him, all this confidence that he had, I gotta imagine it's taken a bite out of him, and it shows in his numbers. In 8 games played, 2-6-0 record, he's got a .876 save percentage, so well below average. Damn near just not good enough for an NHL goaltender just yet, and he's really young still. Like, he's it's not like he's done. He's 22 years old as a goaltender. That's still very, very young. I'm just nervous at the games that he's played for Buffalo. Has been in a very bad era of Buffalo's time. And like they took a chance on it too. Like they went with the young goalies. They're like, all right, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, Devin Levi, let's go. And I called that out. That was probably a bad move, and it didn't work. Like the young goaltenders, they buckled. And Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen got it going late in the season when like it doesn't really matter anymore. And you got to watch out for that kind of stuff. When teams turn it on, when, the pressure's off and their chances of playoffs are over, like, I don't really care that you're playing good now. Now the pressure's off. So, I mean, that's kind of what Buffalo's been doing. They're like, oh, okay, they finished strong. If they can finish like this, they start like this next year, and it just never happens that way. They get off to a shitty start, and then they go on a huge losing streak like they do right now. So Devin Levi, man, like I get nervous for a prospect like him, and that's the Sam Reinhart trade right there. Like everyone was pretty high on that trade initially. They're like, oh fuck, there's Devin Levi, like there's your future goaltender. Sam Reinhart's been struggling in Buffalo, essentially his whole entire run, and now look at him. He's one of the best goal scorers in the league. Like this guy, and he's proving that it wasn't just a one-year thing. He's on an even stronger pace this season than he was last year. So Sam Reinhart's legit. Another prospect that goes from Buffalo, takes off, and he's been sensational. Wins the Stanley Cup. And yeah, man, you got to imagine that's definitely, a little screaming voice in the back of the GM's head, like, Jack Eichel, Stanley Cup champion. Sam Reinhart, Stanley Cup champion. And every time you think about pulling the trigger on a Cousins trade or trade someone else off of that roster, you got like Dylan Cousins, Stanley Cup champion, Conn Smythe. And it's just like, that's got to be playing in your head. So like maybe the GM's in luck. Like no matter what I do, I can't win a trade. Even if I get a Tage Thompson, I lose a Conn Smythe winning center and Ryan O'Reilly. So like Buffalo can't win right now. I don't know what the fuck you can do with Buffalo. Like they've already torn it down twice. They're amongst retooling rebuild right now, where it's like you have 2 first overall pick defensemen on your team. You got Tage Thompson, you got other top 10 picks on your squad, and Quinn and Benson, and it's not coming together. You got young up and coming goaltenders. It's not coming together. What the fuck, man? Like what the fuck? Does Buffalo, like, are they one of the ones like, oh, we just haven't gotten lucky in the first overall picks that we have? I mean, Dahlin, I think, is a legitimate defenseman. That guy is sensational. I don't think I've seen it fully yet out of Owen Power, where it's like, oh, this guy is a game changer. He takes over games. Granted, I don't watch him, but, he does look like he's taken a step forward this year. But I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I mean, Jack Eichel, he's a sensational player. They weren't able to win with him. Like, what if Buffalo got McDavid? What if? We go to that butterfly effect. What if they got Connor McDavid? Would they have more success? I mean, you would like to think so, but I don't even want to really go down that road and think of what would happen if the Buffalo Sabres got Connor McDavid, and to watch them spoil it. To watch them just waste a generational talent. Maybe McDavid would have gotten traded to Vegas, and boom, he would be a Vegas Golden Knight right now, and Jack Eichel would be in Edmonton. I don't know, but it's wild, man. It's just a terribly run organization, man. And at this point, they're at the bottom. The ground is ground zero. Like, no one wants to be there. Everyone who seems to be there is fucking miserable. No one has answers, and everything that they do blows up in their fucking face. Like, there's nothing that Buffalo has done in like 10 years that people go, oh, that was pretty fucking good, other than like Tage Thompson. But like, they paid a crucial price for that. Like, it took a long time before Tage Thompson was like, oh, hey, he's good. It took a while. But damn, dude, I don't know what you can do as Buffalo. If they try to do yet another rebuild, or if they try to start selling off young players again, it's not working. And I mean, they've drafted decently. It's just that they never seem to be able to get what they need out of the players that they're drafting. I'm pissed. I'm pissed right now for Buffalo. I'm mad for their fans. They're a great fan base, and when Buffalo is good, it's a fun league to be in, man. Like, I didn't like Buffalo when they were good because my Leafs were terrible, and Buffalo would stomp them on a regular basis. But this is just getting sad now. Like, I don't think that any fan base deserves to go through this. Like, what did the fans of Buffalo do so wrong? Like, geez, they're already good enough sports. They allow all the Maple Leaf fans in their building and take over and all that shit. But I feel really bad for Buffalo. I don't think there's any way you can redeem this season. I don't see a move that they could do. You fire Lindy, whatever. That's not going to do anything. You fire, Kevin Adams? Didn't he just get here? Like, or whoever the fuck their GM is? Like, what the hell do you do, man? Like, the Pagulas, they've been in it. They stayed out of it. Either thing that they do, it doesn't work. You gotta, I don't know. They were able to do it with the Bills, right? You look at the Buffalo Bills, the football team, you're like, fuck. Like, they were kind of the Buffalo Sabers of the NFL. Like, just perpetual failure, getting to so many Super Bowls, never winning, and it kind of became a running gag. And the Bills still chasing that, but they're good. They've turned it around. They're extremely popular. Bills Mafia and everything. Why can't they get that to happen with the Buffalo Sabres? Like, I don't know what they did with the Buffalo Bills, other than maybe winning and doing some smart things, but winning helps everything, and that is not something that Buffalo is doing right now or has done in 13 years. I know it's easy for me to say, like, yeah, they got to get a run going and get some wins going, but it's extremely hard when everyone on the team is probably at their absolute lowest point. Your coach is speechless, and apparently, I think Pagula came down and had some amazing speech and everything. Hey, maybe that turns it around and they get a win against the Montreal Canadiens. But right now, how much lower can it get for the Buffalo Sabres and their fans, man? Like, I don't know. Like, they've made so many questionable moves in their history, and nothing's working, man. Nothing's working. So the Buffalo Sabres, how many more losses will they pile up in a row? I don't know, man, but it is ugly, ugly in the Buffalo Sabres land. And speaking of ugly, we go to the Buffalo Sabres expansion brother, the Vancouver Canucks, who suffered a very, very ugly loss to the Boston Bruins the other day, 5-1 loss, and that brought out some comments from Rick Tocchet, calling out his team, saying that, we got like 4 or 5 guys that just aren't in it emotionally. We need to get those guys going. And obviously the main guy that he didn't say his name personally, but it's Elias Pettersson. Guy's been rough the last couple games. He's even called himself out, saying like, I gotta be better and shit. But Pettersson is it's kind of an anomaly. So JT Miller is back with the team. And there's some words around that JT Miller and Pettersson don't get along very well. And just so happened, Pettersson was on a heater almost the whole entire time that Miller was gone. And now Miller's back and Pettersson's playing bad again. So is there a problem here? Do these guys fucking hate each other? I know they've had some screaming matches before, but if the fact that this guy's in the lineup and that's going to be detrimental to this player, something's got to give here. So with that being said, I want to talk about Elliot Friedman brought up a trade suggestion. This is completely hypothetical, just a thought, not real in any way, but he suggested a trade between the Buffalo Sabres and the Vancouver Canucks. And he was like, who would say no to this? Bowen Byram and Dylan Cousins for Elias Pettersson. I giggled. I had a little giggle right there. I don't know about that one, bro. That would be amazing for Buffalo. Elias Pettersson would be that type of top-notch elite center that they're looking for, but he also fills that role of that exact kind of player that Buffalo struggles to work with. A guy that needs a fire under his ass. He needs a kind of a constant dripping of motivation, and Buffalo is absolutely devoid of that. If he got traded to Buffalo now, that guy would probably not score a point for the first 25 games. His confidence would be shattered. Absolutely shattered. And can you imagine, it's like, oh, hey, Elias, you're going to the currently on a 10-game losing streak Buffalo Sabres, and good luck with that, pal. We're picking JT Miller over you. And that's the way it goes. So I don't know if immediately I think Buffalo wins that trade. you're getting the better player immediately. Like, Pettersson is better than Bowen Byram or Dylan Cousins. It just is. He's a 100-point guy. Yes, he hasn't really been able to find that in the last couple of years since he signed his big contract, and that would be another part of the deal. You're moving off of the big deal of Pettersson, which, arguably he's not living up to it just yet. And then, bam, you bring in a left shot, very high potential, defenseman that could, again, that then he slots in behind Quinn Hughes. Like, he's not running power play over Quinn Hughes. He will be a nice complementary piece to Quinn Hughes on that power play, a nice booming shot and all that shit. And then you get Dylan Cousins, a very struggling asset. A new change of scenery could be great for him, but you're going into a very similar style market where it's like Vancouver, team that's never had any real success, no Stanley Cups, tons of up and downs, lots of fucking controversy with the team. And to bring in a guy like that, would that be ideal? There would be a lot of pressure on that player, like, to get over here and be good, get back to that 30-goal guy. Maybe it'd be good for him. It might be good. I don't know. I don't see that trade happening whatsoever, honestly. I think it's too good for Buffalo and a little bit risky for Vancouver. Like, I know people want, like, ever since he signed that contract, they want Pettersson gone, but I think he's a really good player that, yeah, he goes through a slump every now and again. He is still kind of young, and, eventually he will hopefully figure out that consistency thing that comes with age. You learn how to prepare yourself for every day, and so on and so forth. And Pettersson's been struggling with that, but he has taken a step forward this year. He did say he got rid of the social media, which has been a big problem for him. He's very into that stuff and hears what people say and takes it personally. I mean, no doubt. I would too, but I just wouldn't read that shit. Like, I just know I wouldn't take it very well, and yeah, so I would just have to not read that stuff. Hence why I don't have social media. I haven't had social media for my own personal me since 2009. Like, I just don't need that. I don't want it. I'm good without it. For me, it's a very toxic place, and especially if you're playing for the Vancouver Canucks, man, like, I can only imagine what people say about you, fans, media. You just don't need that, man. Like, why do you need to listen to the opinions of strangers? That's what I'd be telling him, and it sounds like he took that advice. So that's good, but that trade, like, I just think trade partners of Buffalo and Vancouver just sounds like a disaster. It sounds like a lose-lose where, like, the worst would happen. Pettersson would become depressed and become a 50-point guy, and, I mean, it wouldn't be so bad for Cousins and Bowen Byram, because at least there's been recent success in Vancouver. Maybe it does work out, but I honestly gasped when he said Pettersson. I was like, no way, man. Like, why would they trade that guy? Like, I know it sounds like they're more invested in JT Miller because that guy has a lot of emotion. He plays with passion, and that's what they want in their lineup. They don't want, guys just to kind of roll over when things get difficult. They want a guy that will fucking, it might be loud, it might be a little bit annoying on a day-to-day basis, but it gets results, right? So Vancouver, it's been an up and down week for them. They did get Thatcher Demko back into the lineup as well. So that's good. Vancouver's getting healthy, but is the mentality a problem right now in Vancouver? We continue to talk about their struggles at home. They cannot fucking win at home for some reason. They get in their own heads. I don't know, man. I will continue to say the thing that the hockey guy says. Just simplify your game. Whatever game that you're playing on the road, which seems to be a more simplified game, do that at home as well. Stop trying to be super flashy and do extra things that you don't need to and gets turned over and bam, it's in the back of your net. Play simple, play your game. Yes, you want to make your fans happy and everything, but what will make them happiest is winning games. Making sure they got their money's worth tonight with a win. There's nothing worse than spending $400 to watch your team lose 5-0 and just have a bad time. So that's what you got to do with Vancouver, man. Just get those wins at home. It's not good because it's becoming a thing now. It's already been a thing for a while. People have been talking about it. The struggles at home. You don't want that. You don't want a weakness going into the playoffs, and that would be a story. Oh, Vancouver, they have home ice advantage. Oh, but they're a terrible home team. So, who knows? They got to figure that one out. They got to get on that. It's not good. You want to have a good time playing at home. You don't want to have it being like, oh, we got to play at home this week. Oh, geez, it's going to be awful. Oh, our fans are just so awful to us. Blah, 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 blah. Craziness. Whoa, I just saw that. That's crazy. The team leader in goals right now is Jake DeBrusk. Fuck yeah, Jake DeBrusk. You get it going, brother. All right. Let's actually just take a look at these stats right now. Now I'm very curious. So Quinn Hughes leads the team. Unfucking believable. Elias Pettersson, he's got, even with that hot run he was on, he's still under a point per game. 30 games played, 26 points. Okay, so he can get it going. Connor Garland's been great, and Jake DeBrusk has been great. Look at him go. 14 goals, 9 assists, 23 points in 30 games. He's been nice. JT Miller, he's got 20 games, 19 points. He's back in the lineup now, and they got a big win there against Florida. I believe that was the game that he came back in, so really good sign. JT Miller back in the lineup. You got Thatcher Demko. Couple of rough games, but he was excellent the other night against Colorado. So it's very, very early, very small sample size, but Thatcher Demko is at least playing hockey, and that's a great sign. So very good. It does seem like Kevin Lankinen is dealing with some injuries right now. I believe they called up Shilovs, or they did and brought him back down. Regardless, Kevin Lankinen can use a break anyway. That guy has been carrying a very heavy load, 21 games played already for the Vancouver Canucks, and he has 14 wins. So he's been spectacular, especially on the road. Yeah, man, hopefully this is kind of the beginning of Vancouver starting to put everything together. Hopefully JT Miller and Pettersson can work it out and just start playing good together on the same page, because Pettersson's been he's had 0 points since JT Miller's return. And his ice time has gone down drastically since his return. He went from 19 minutes and 23 minutes. He's now down to 14, 15, and 16 minutes respectively. So ice time goes down with JT Miller's return. Point production has stopped completely with JT Miller's return. That can't be a fucking coincidence, man. And when JT Miller was in the lineup early, Pettersson struggled mightily out of the gate this season. And then, Miller's gone. Pettersson's great. There's got to be something there. Those two got to figure it the fuck out. Or, maybe a Pettersson trade isn't as crazy as it sounds. Maybe Elliott knows more about that locker room and what's going on in there. But it definitely seems like JT Miller rubs Pettersson the wrong way, man. Like, whenever he gets in his face and is like, you got to do better, Pettersson probably just doesn't like that shit. And, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Some people like a soft approach. Some people need it hard. They need you to be like, do fucking better, you fuck. And some people need a little coddling. I don't know. Pettersson seems like a fairly sensitive guy. So, and JT Miller is quite the opposite. He's very brash and upfront, and there must be a clash there, because I am seeing a very clear pattern here with Pettersson and his production going away when JT Miller is in the lineup. So, not good. They got to figure that one out real fast, and I don't know, maybe a trade for Pettersson isn't as crazy as it sounds. Speaking of crazy, the Toronto Maple Leafs have lost Anthony Stolarz for 4 to 6 weeks. Oh, man, this sucks. Now, I'm reacting rather heavily to this news because I have Anthony Stolarz on my fantasy team, and he is my one of my MVPs, especially in net. My team is disgusting. I got Connor Hellebuck and Anthony Stolarz as my 1-2, and now I'm just down to Hellebuck, and this makes me scared. And for 4 to 6 weeks, man, that's a big blow to the old fantasy team right there. But is it as big of a blow to the Toronto Maple Leafs? No, I don't think so. I'm not even really all that worried about it, honestly. Now, if Joseph Woll goes down, panic button, alarms are going off, I'm running around, I'm scared, and it's not a good time. But with the way that the Leafs goaltending has been this season, and the defensive play that the Leafs have been much better at this season, I'm not that worried. I'm worried, but I'm not that worried. I'm not panicking. I'm nervous that, we're one injury away from Hildeby, possibly Matt Murray, being the goaltender for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Hildeby, in his short little stints that he's played, he's been okay. I wouldn't want him in there for an extended period of time, I don't think, just yet, but it's been okay. He's a guy that, all right, on a back-to-back, so be it, put him in there. He might get lit up a little bit, but they might get the win. And I believe he was in there for the other game, the Buffalo game, and he wasn't great, but they got the win. So with Joseph Woll, this is a great opportunity for him now to grab the bull by the horns, if you will, and go on a run. Go on a nice run, a nice healthy run. I think that is the most important thing out of anything right now, is to get Joseph Woll playing a consistent amount of games and to stay healthy. He's got to stay healthy. And that's becoming an issue with goaltenders now, because goalies are generally so big now. The bigger you are, the easier it is to get hurt. And probably it might take a little bit longer, to get back to where you are. And there has been an injury history with Stolarz and Woll. So kind of been known that, Stolarz more than likely is going to have a few maintenance days. He might miss some games. 4 to 6 weeks, a little bit more than I would have liked to had in the old prediction notes there. But it sucks. It definitely sucks to have Stolarz out. He's been so freaking good, man. Like, better than I could have expected. I expected him and felt very strongly that this guy is going to be great and probably going to steal the starting role. Arguably, I think he still is the starting goaltender of this team. If playoffs start today, I think they're going with Anthony Stolarz, man. Like, he's been sensational. Woll has been great too. So this is going to be a big test for Joseph Woll right now. See how he can play balls in your court. And yeah, man, I feel pretty strong. I feel good about Joseph Woll, man. He seems like a great dude. He seems like the team really likes him. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. We'll see how many games Hildeby will get in. I imagine he'll be there for the back-to-backs and maybe the odd, appealing matchup. If they're playing San Jose or something, maybe throw Hildeby in there, see how that one goes. They're playing Buffalo. Yeah, why not throw him out there? They can't win, so give it a shot. But I'm not too worried about that. Another concern with the Toronto Maple Leafs this year is their struggles to score at times. And yes, it is a concern, especially because that's been the issue when it comes to playoff time. When they get to the playoffs, the goals dry up. Now, it shouldn't be as bad. It's not as concerning as it was. It is most certainly still a concern, don't get me wrong, but the way that they're scoring now is more playoff bound. They're getting in front of the net, they're battling, they're getting rebounds, much better. So they're not going to have as much of an adjustment to playoff as they usually do, because they like to play a skill possession game, used to anyway, where it's a lot of holding on to it, regroup and do this and do that. It didn't work. So I feel better. Like, yes, that's kind of built into the strategy. You're going to start playing more defensive. The goals are going to be harder to come by. But if you're winning, it doesn't matter. And the Leafs have been winning more than they have been losing with this strategy. And no, it's not the most appealing hockey, I will admit. I've been, kind of backburnering hockey games, Leaf games this season, because they just haven't been that interesting. I'll generally watch the first period and I'll give it a chance. I'll be like, all right, what's the pace? How we feeling? And if I'm not feeling this game, then I turn it off. What was the last one that was very, very good that I watched? Oh man, it was a couple weekends ago. It might have been the Detroit game. Anyway, there was a game there with a really good, strong pace, but some games are just, in the first period, if I have like 8 icings already, I'm like, I'm out of here. Fuck this. Like, I'm not going to turn it off, but I'll do other things, and I'm not just going to sit there and watch the game because, man, it's just the way that we are now. Like, I stream everything. There's no commercials. I can't fucking stand commercials, and man, is hockey ever slow sometimes, man. Like, when teams are off, and you get the icings, and you get the offsides, and it's just a fucking slog to get through. Like, you're sitting there, you're 20 minutes into this viewing experience, we got 4 minutes off the clock, and it's just like, do you guys know how to fucking play hockey, or what? Like, if the game's just not up to my standards, I'm just not gonna bother committing my whole 3-hour block of my night to a mediocre game. So I'll put it on the background. But when it's good, and I'll watch. I think it was the Pittsburgh game that I was watching that was really good. Fast pace, back and forth, no whistles. Love it. Why can't we make the game like that? They continue to build the game to make it slow. All right, let's do more fucking reviews. Let's do this. They had another review on the weekend where it was like, oh, fucking 1 millimeter over. Oh, it's offside. No goal. It's like, get rid. Why do we have offside? Why does that matter? I am blown away that why is offside a thing still? Is it that bad that a guy is a little bit ahead of the play? Why does that matter? I feel like it was only a thing for fucking stupid kids to not be cherry picking. You're not going to see cherry picking in the NHL, and if you do, they'll defend it. Like, why do we have icing? Or even icing. I fucking hate icing, but I understand it. I understand icing actually makes sense, because if you didn't have that, teams would just be firing the puck down when they're up by 1 goal, and it'd just be a constant chase and chase and chase. Okay, I get that. But offside? Why? Why do we have offside? I just don't get it. The game is structured enough that who the fuck is just going to be, oh, I'm way over here, guys. I'm down at the other end. Just fire it down to me. I'll be on a breakaway maybe once in a while. Like, get rid of offside, man. Get fucking rid of it. I hate it so much. And all this video review and the fact that, like, they were talking about on the Steve Dangle podcast that they're, like, legitimately cannot celebrate a goal until they drop the puck for the next play. They, like, the goal goes in, you just sit there and go, is it really a goal though? Like, I have no idea. And honestly, I'm there with them. I can't even fucking celebrate a goal anymore, because I never know if it's gonna get called back for icing randomly, or if it was somehow goaltender interference, or he somehow kicked the puck with a non-kicking motion. And okay, so this is just constant. Like, I just like the hockey game. A hockey game should take an hour and a half. Not 3 to 3.5 hours. Like, you got the commercial breaks, you got 20-minute intermissions. I think that maybe they should change hockey to a 2-period game and just have 1 halftime. Something like that. Like, I don't need all these intermissions. And for the most part, they're unbearable to watch. Like, for me, I have to get these terrible national broadcasts. I can't stand Ron MacLean anymore. I don't want to listen to Ron MacLean in my hockey anymore. That guy is on a different level. That guy should be doing, like, real journalistic work or something. Like, saving people around the world. Stop dealing with hockey and go help people, Ron. Just go help people. That's what you want to do. Go and do it, buddy. I don't want you around my hockey no more. You're so fucking boring. All you want to do is make it a journalistic, this guy, Tim from fucking buttfuck nowhere, never heard of this place in my life. Oh, he shoveled some snow for Granny Lynn this week, and we're going to shout him out. Good for you. Talk about hockey. Oh my goodness. I want more than anything to have a TNT-style panel with, like, Biz. I want to watch that. I don't want to watch these terrible milquetoast fucking white bread, fucking boring, useless conversations that they have on Hockey Night in Canada. The only thing that I'm interested in Hockey Night in Canada is headlines with Elliot Friedman, because that's when the only interesting things get said. Fuck. So, yeah, apparently I don't like Ron MacLean very much. Not as a person. I think he's too good of a human. Too good of a human. Stay away from hockey, because all you want to do is make it a beautiful story. Stop it. Stop. Give me fucking wild stats. Give me crazy stories, bro. Like, I don't want to hear it. All right. So, the Leafs, I think they'll be fine. They're gonna, it's still gonna comes down to playoff time, man. Like, the results of this year only matters how far they get in the playoffs. If they get to the second round, it's a minor win. If they get to the third round, finally success. Finally, I would be like, yes, that is a successful season. Even if they don't win the cup. It's like, finally, we've taken that step. We've finally taken that step. Like, that's the step. Right now, I don't think the Leafs have done anything. Even though they got to the second round, that was great. The way they got there wasn't great. They didn't win that series against Tampa. They got dusted. They got lucky. So, yes, I say this all the time. You need luck to win, but I wasn't satisfied. And then they got fucking destroyed by Florida. They did not belong, and that was proven. So there you go. I feel better about this Leaf team going into the playoffs because they are playing more of a playoff style. We'll just have to see how that goes when it's actually playoff time. Will they still have those mental gaffes where you're just like, why did you pull off a spin move on the blue line? Are you crazy? So we'll see if that kind of thing happens, because that's still, the boogeyman, the Leafs boogeyman. It's the playoffs. It's the first round. It's the Boston Bruins. It's Tampa. Well, not really Tampa, but it's the Bruins. It's still definitely the Bruins. And yeah, they're not going away just yet. Well, kind of. I don't know. We'll see. But regardless, I'm not horrified about the Anthony Stolarz injury. If this was, again, it would be alarm bells if Woll was still hurt. But Woll's here. Hildeby will back him up. And there is Matt Murray. Like, Matt Murray did win 2 Stanley Cups. Maybe they could pull something out of it. I think they could probably get a win or 2 out of Matt Murray if they needed to. So, yeah. And also, I'll shout out Mitch Marner. He's been playing sensational hockey. He's been really good. And so is John Tavares. Love John Tavares, having a sensational season, bouncing back, shutting up all the haters, and all that stuff. If he didn't have that slow start where he was super sick and just, kind of couldn't play, guy would be well over a point a game right now. He's inching his way up there. He's been great. Matthew Nyes has been great. So, yeah, man, the team's just moving along. They're doing fine. Max Domi is a major concern. He finally got a point. It's been a very, 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 very long time since that guy got a point. And, yeah, dude, it's been a fucking terrible season for Max Domi. Yes, he was injured, and is he fully healthy yet? I don't know, man. The way that he plays doesn't look like it. And, also, speaking of people not getting points in a long time, back to Vancouver, that Hoglander guy has gone pointless in 19 games. I feel like that guy is inevitably going to get traded at some point. You don't go from, he had 26 goals last year, and now he can't fucking buy a goal. There's something going on with that guy. So, I don't know, maybe a change of scenery. Maybe he goes to Buffalo, and who knows, ends his career over there. All right, speaking of ending his career, Cam Fowler ends his career with the Anaheim Ducks. He has been traded, and he got traded to the St. Louis Blues alongside a 4th-round pick. Anaheim acquires, wow, that's a name, Jeremy Batuka. Well done. 2nd-round pick as well going there. So, hey, St. Louis trying to bounce back, get themselves back into the playoffs. They fired the coach. They got, what's his name? They got the guy. They got that guy that got fired and everyone wanted. They got him, and off they go. So, yeah, they bring in Cam Fowler. I like that addition. It's going to be very strange to see him in a different jersey, especially a blue and yellow and white one. But, hey, I'm happy for Cam Fowler. Now, it's not a guarantee that St. Louis makes the playoffs, but there's a decent chance that they could. Hold on. Let me go take a look at the standings here, and we'll see how far away the St. Louis Blues are from a playoff spot. Let's take a look. Wild card, bam, we'll hit that up. St. Louis, oh dear. Whoa, okay, that's not good. Oh, they're way down there, eh? 33 points right now. They have 32 games played. The team they're trying to catch is Vancouver and the Colorado Avalanche. And they got 36 and 37 points respectively to get into their Central Division. I think that's where they're playing. 38 points, the Stars, 44 and 45 for the Jets and Wild. That is going to be tough, man. I don't know about that one, man. That might... Hopefully Cam wasn't, promised a playoff run. He may not get what he wants here with St. Louis. They still have quite a hill to climb there, and there's a lot of tough teams to pass. And Avalanche are well on their way. I can't believe they're behind Utah Hockey Club. That's fucked up, and Utah's got games in hand. Flames got games in hand. Canucks have games in hand. So, yeah, I don't know about that one for the Blues. If they are going to make the playoffs, not looking ideal. But, hey, you brought in Cam Fowler. I like that move for them. Didn't cost them all that much. So, hey, that's not bad. All right, decent. At least Cam Fowler got traded. And will John Gibson get traded? So, there is a potential partner here in the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina does have some interest in John Gibson. They're dealing with some goalie injury problems with Anderson. Kachekhov's been up and down. And, yeah, it's kind of been a consistent issue for Carolina. Goalies getting hurt. John Gibson. He's been on the trade block for 13 years now. Will this finally be the year that he gets traded? I could see Carolina pulling the trigger on a guy like that. It's just like he doesn't have a lot of history. I don't know if he's ever been in the playoffs. We know he's a good goalie, allegedly. He's just been on a bad team for a really long time, and his contracts kind of prevented him from getting traded. We'll see, man. That's what Elliott was saying, that there was interest from the Carolina Hurricanes to possibly get that done. Once the ball gets rolling, they traded Cam Fowler. Now they're on a roll, so who knows? That John Gibson trade could be inevitable, could have already happened. I am recording this on Tuesday. It's going to go out on Wednesday, so if shit goes down Wednesday, my bad. I'll talk about it next week. But let's take a trip over here to Philadelphia for a hot second. Let's talk about Michkov. this guy's getting popular, y'all. This guy's getting very, very popular, and he got ejected from the game. And amongst the ejection, he's going down the tunnel. He's signing autographs for fans and shit like that. I love it. I don't know if Tortorella's going to be loving that. I mean, they've already had the benching situation, but since the benching, Michkov's been fantastic. So, you know, a good benching isn't that bad, man. I think it's generally, usually rather effective. It was a questionable strategy last year when Tortorella decided to bench Sean Couturier, their captain. That didn't seem to go over very well with fans or really anybody. But to do it to a rookie, yeah, I don't really have a problem with that. There is some talks around Tortorella, like possibly overstaying his welcome in Philadelphia. Some people suggesting that it may not last much longer. But I don't see how you could fire him right now. The way that he's got this team performing way, way above its weight class, and he's getting good performances out of Michkov. He's, I don't know, man. Like, yes, Tortorella has an expiration date. Sometimes it's shorter than others. Like Vancouver, they're like, you're done immediately. We're fucking done with this shit. Get the fuck out of here. And then he's been pretty good. Like, it seems like every year he gets a little bit calmer, just a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. And it's built up over the years. He's definitely not the coach that he was in Tampa Bay. He's not the coach that he was in New York. But, yeah, man, I think Michkov's doing well. Also, Scott Laughton, of all people, had a 4-goal game. 4 goals from Scott Laughton. Congratulations. That may never happen again for Scott Laughton. But, hey, man, that guy's pretty good. And speaking of pretty good, Kevin Shattenkirk. He was pretty good, but now he is retired. He has retired from the NHL and a solid career. I'm always going to remember Kevin Shattenkirk for the year that I drafted Kevin Shattenkirk and Nikita Kucherov, and I combined their names together for a great fantasy hockey team name, Shattenmakooch. There you go. There you go, everybody. So, yep, Shattenkirk retires. Pretty good, man. Like, I remember he had good runs in St. Louis, and then the rest. So that's all right. But back to the Michkov situation. Let's take a look at the Calder race right now, because it is starting to get a little more interesting. So right now, Michkov, if we're awarding the award today, more than likely he would get it. He does have the most points. He's got 27 points in 29 games, 11 goals, 16 assists. He's got 30 penalty minutes. Holy shit, that's kind of high, isn't it? But then there's Macklin Celebrini. Now, Macklin Celebrini, he had an injury, but since he's returned, dude, the guy is good. Like, people are talking this guy's possibly better than Connor Bedard. Now, just take a moment there. We'll see what happens when he has a sophomore season. Sophomore slumps are very a thing. Now, Macklin Celebrini's new to the league. People don't know what this kid's about. They don't really know what he can do. They don't know how to defend him just yet. He's new. Teams will learn how to defend Macklin Celebrini. It's up to Macklin Celebrini to adjust his game to whatever strategies the teams start to throw at him. And right now, they're probably just like, all right, let's just there's kind of feeling out process with Macklin Celebrini. So we'll see what happens with these guys next year. But regardless, Macklin Celebrini flying up the list, 21 games. He's got 20 points, 10 goals, 10 assists, and he's very exciting. He's bringing excitement to the San Jose Sharks. He and Will Smith have been hooking up, and yo, man, like that's kind of a bright spot right now for the San Jose Sharks. That's like, hey, these young kids are fun. They're playing well, and hey, that's some good shit. You got Lane Hudson. He's been up and down. He's got 20 points in 30 games now, 1 goal, 19 assists. He is a minus 14. Comes with the territory. You're a young defenseman on a shitty team. You're going to be a minus, and a pretty glaring one at that. But he's getting a little bit more consistent. He was struggling with, he would go pointless for quite a while. Then it would be like 2 assists, and then pointless. But he's getting stronger, and yeah, man, he looks like he's going to be like the power play specialist back there for Montreal for a long time to come. After that, you got Maxim Chlipashov, I believe that's how you say his name. 32 games played, 18 points, 6 goals, 12 assists for the New York Islanders. Honestly, I don't hear anybody talking about this guy, but that's pretty decent. And then you got Logan Stankoven, Stinky, 28 games played, 16 points. Maybe a little bit under what people were expecting. I think there was a little bit more hype around Stankoven this year. Got a taste of him last year. It was a pretty nice taste. And yeah, he's just trucking along, doing just fine. Will Smith has 11 points in 25 games, but he's starting to heat up a little bit here, especially now that Celebrini is back. But, oh, wait, hold on. Does this thing show goaltenders? It doesn't. That's not cool, man. That's not cool. Oh, well, it is what it is. There's, who's the rookie goaltender? It's not Woll, is it? I don't know. I don't remember what's the rookie goaltender that's out there right now that's playing. It doesn't matter. He could also be in contention, whoever he is. But regardless, right now, I would say it's a two-headed beast between Celebrini and Michkov. Very good young players. Who do you think is going to win the Calder? I don't know. I would go with Macklin Celebrini. Honestly, I think he's a little bit more explosive, more dynamic. And I think he will probably outscore Michkov if he stays healthy for the remainder of the season. I can see Celebrini being around 70, 80-ish points if he stays healthy. So we'll see what happens there with the Calder race. And I think that's all I'm going to talk about this week. I'll save some of the other races for next week. We'll talk about the Hart Trophy, and we'll take a look at the stat leaders and all that shit. But I think that'll do it for me today, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. You're the best. If you want to be even more of the best, make sure you're liking and reviewing the podcast. Share it around with a few thousand of your friends and enemies and all that great stuff. Upload all of these episodes to the YouTube channel, GamerGX Videos. Go over there, subscribe. All the links are in the description. You want to drop a comment, have a question answered live on the podcast. I got a Twitter page. You can follow along there. Drop a message, email address there. You could drop an email, or you can go to the YouTube channel, drop a comment on one of the videos. You want a question answered about wrestling, hockey, video games, that would be preferred. Outside of that, I'm no expert, but I'll try. And in terms of what else we got going on with the podcast this week, we got the GamerCast will be the God of War Ragnarok review. Finally played that game, and did it live up to my expectations? You'll just have to find out on Friday for that one. And we got the WrestleCast. I legitimately think there may not be a pay-per-view this weekend for the first time in 7 months. But yeah, so if there isn't one, I'll have the recap. If there is one, there'll be a recap and a pay-per-view review. So there we go, everybody. That's what's going on with the GX Plus cast this week. Make sure you're following along and reviewing it and all that great stuff. And we'll be back again with some out GX Blood again.